Hey, this is Chuck at That Rhythm Man Guitars, and I've got another one for you today. This one's kind of cool. Not a whole lot of these, especially like this one, around. So what I have for you today is this one. It is a 1937 Gibson L5, and what makes this one unique is this is during the time when they were almost exclusively making X-braced archtops, especially since they had recently gone in 35, they had gone to this 17-inch size versus the 16-inch, and so this one is not X-braced, it's parallel braced like the slightly later ones would be. So this is one of the very first 17-inch parallel braced archtops made by Gibson. There were a few others that were ordered specifically by Dave Barber in one batch, and this one was made, I think, probably slightly after those, but nonetheless pretty unique in that regard. So what we have on this guitar is some really cool features, some that I really like. This is one of the things I love about 1937 is this tailpiece. It really wasn't used any other time except then. I'm going to see if you can kind of, yeah, there you go. If I hit that just right, you can see it there, like that. You can see how it's etched so that the L5 stands out there. A little bit of engraving around that. Very cool, only done in 1937. After that, they went to the one that people usually think of when they think of an L5, the very Art Deco looking one. And before that, it was a very simple one that was pretty much like all the others, just a simple trapeze with a bar and a wire. And even earlier than that, it was a wraparound one. But this is what we have there. It does have a replacement bridge on this one. Looks to be Gibson nonetheless though, but it's the 2-foot version, and it has what seems to be possibly, I think it is actually the original pickguard probably. In addition to that, it has seal-fast tuners, which are slightly later. These look like post-war seal-fasts, since they have the celluloid style buttons rather than possibly might have had Catalan at this point. But it appears to be the original style, so I think it had seal fasts on it to begin with. And original finish, doesn't appear to have any overspray or anything like that. Has the slightly flatter carve that was used on a lot of the X-braced guitars in particular, without quite as much recurve, but it sounds fantastic with that. Has an amazing bubble maple back, which they must have had a good supply of bubble maple right there in the fairly, I guess it was probably mainly the late 30s, early 40s when they used quite a bit of that. They had some left over that they used post-war, but for the most part, it comes in just a select number of these. They didn't use it tons, but it is around. It's my favorite. I don't know why, but every bubble maple guitar that I've ever had plays, well, it plays well if it's set up right, but always sounds great. In addition to that, just before I move on real quick, the nut has been replaced on the guitar, and somebody had the foresight to save the original nut, so that comes with the guitar. And it also has probably my favorite Gibson case, the tweed with the painted stripes. This one has quite a bit of road wear, but it's still holding together. Replacement handle on it, and all the original latches, and it's really cool. I love those. So that's a tweed that's painted and lacquered, and that brings us to the guitar itself, and the important part. Plays really nicely. I have the Elixir phosphor bronze nano webs on this, I find that they tend to take just a little of that grating kind of, I don't know exactly what to call it, but something that a lot of bronze strings have, especially 80/20s, that are just really kind of bright and a little harsh. But the nano web coating over the phosphor bronze makes them last longer, and it seems to take just enough of that edge off that they sound much, much better. Anyway, let's take a listen to the guitar. One thing that can be nice on these, some people actually like to use them for finger picking. I think they're really good for that at times. This one has a nice enough spacing, you know, being an older guitar, that was pretty common, but it works well for that too.